Hey, Gary, the fact that you're now an agent and representing players is something that, we who cover baseball every day are very familiar with. Some fans might be hearing that for the first time. So I'm curious what your thoughts are when you hear that a former teammate of yours, Robinson Cano, signs for $240 million for 10 years to go to Seattle. As an agent now, that's got to be good for business, right?
Yeah, it's good for business. Now you're spreading it out. It's like football when the big dogs like the Yankees don't re-sign their homegrown kids. I was kind of surprised that they let it get to that point. But like I said, I talked to Robbie right after that. He was still a good friend of mine. And I just said you couldn't bridge the gap where you could stay and make that kind of money. You could at least got them up to 200 or something and try to make it off the field in New York or something, And I said, but one thing that I know from experience, when you leave New York, you're going to feel it.
Mm. Yeah. What do you mean by that? When you leave New York, you're going to feel it?
You just ask guys like Johnny Damon and all these guys that, that had names and once they went somewhere else, you didn't hear anything about them. And I think that, Cano is a good enough player, you're going to hear about him, but being in a lineup like that, he haven't tasted that kind of, that kind of food yet. When you have to be, you got to be the first, the first batter, the second batter, all the way to the ninth batter, and when you have to go up there every day and face that, then you start realizing money ain't everything.
Mm-hmm. Now, Chef, it's Ken Rosenthal. From a player's perspective, what would you have done had you been in Cano's position? Yankees offer him $175. The Mariners offer him $240. Keeping in mind all that you just said about how it's different once you leave New York, what would Gary Sheffield have done?
Well, I would have tried to bridge the gap. I would have said, you can defer half of it, or you can do whatever. I would have tried to do everything possible to make that contract work. I think when you talk about the Yankees making an offer, that's just what it is. It's an offer. And the bottom line is this is a negotiation. And when you start negotiate, then you can get creative and do all kinds of things to make it work. And I'm sure the Yankees would have loved the deferred money, especially with A-Rod contract and bringing Jeter back for his final year and having to pay him. So they could have got creative with the contract to stay under that whatever number they was trying to stay under. So he could have just said, okay, let's just defer a certain amount of money so you can stay under that number, but still give me mine. And I think that's something that could have happened.
Hey, Gary, I want to ask you, too, it was hard trying to explain when Robbie was saying he felt disrespected. And I looked at it like it was in the way that he felt like the Yankees didn't want him back. And a lot of people thought it was how can you be disrespected when you're offered $175 million?
That's what I was saying.
I'm curious your thoughts.
Well, I can understand Robbie's point, and a lot of times, players, I think that's what made me different is that I never took anything personal for his contract. I always knew that it's a business and, regardless if they pay you what you want or not, they're really making their offer based on, what they think is right. And a lot of times we take that stuff personal because we look at it as, you never played, you don't understand that, I'm the best at what I do. And all of those things go in your head. And so you can't rationalize that people just making business decisions.